Today, it's all about tobacco, and I'm going to be showing you five
Wait
a minute!
fragrances in my collection that all feature the note of tobacco in some way. Some of the fragrances are a bit more tobacco forward than others, but they all have the note of tobacco in them. So tobacco is a note that's very sexy, mysterious, and it can come off a bit dark, but it brings such a depth to a fragrance that I absolutely love. So let's go. So first up on the list from the house of Guerlain, we have L'Homme Idéal Extreme. This fragrance is gorgeous, sweet, smooth, warm, spicy plums, and then once you start to move into the base and the dry down, that tobacco starts to be push a bit forward along with the leather. This stuff is absolutely amazing, perfect for the fall and winter months. I can't get enough of it. The weather here in Japan has finally started to cool down, so you better believe that this is gonna get plenty of wear from me. I'm excited to wear it. And actually this may even be my scent of the day today. We'll see about that. I don't have anything on now, but I may just put this on. Yeah, I would say pretty much anything from the Guerlain L'Homme line is really, really good, but this is my favorite. As for the note breakdown, in the top, we have almond, pink pepper, and bergamot. In the mid, we have plum, cinnamon, and heliotrope. In the base, we have tobacco, leather, patchouli, and cedar. I consider Guerlain a niche brand. Some may consider it designer, but they make niche quality perfumes, so I consider them niche. Yeah, so if you can, get yourself a sample of L'Homme Idéal Extreme by Guerlain. Next up from the house of BDK, we have Tobac Rose. This fragrance is gorgeous. Probably my favorite fragrance from the BDK line. It's one of those fragrances that if you enjoy the note of rose and tobacco, you're gonna be in heaven with this one. This fragrance is also quite unique because as you move into the dry down, there's a chocolatiness that really starts to shine through. There's many different stages to this fragrance, so it's non-linear. A beautiful one in my opinion. As for the note breakdown, in the top, we have plum, pink pepper, and Italian lemon. In the mid, we have Turkish rose, chocolate, and cinnamon. And in the base, we have tobacco, Indonesian patchouli, and Spanish labdema. And Tobac Rose was perfumed by Julien Rascanet. He is quickly becoming one of my favorite perfumers. The fragrances that he makes have a lot of depth and character to them, and they typically are great performers. I really enjoy his work, and I'm looking forward to his future perfumes. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Tobac Rose by BDK. Next up on the list from the house of Mancera, we have Red Tobacco. This fragrance has received a ton of hype for the simple fact that it is a nuclear beast mode performer. This stuff can be dangerous if you spray more than 2 times. This is one of those fragrances that will announce that you're here before you actually walk in the room. It's that powerful, so be careful with this one. This fragrance also can be a bit challenging to some people in the opening. I've heard that before. That's how it is for me too. I'm getting more used to it nowadays, but the dry down on this one is absolutely heavenly, and I wear this fragrance for that. I wear it for the dry down. It's a gorgeous one. As for the note breakdown, in the top, we have cinnamon, agar wood, incense, saffron, nutmeg, green apple, and white pear. In the mid, we have patchouli and jasmine. And in the base, we have tobacco, Madagascar vanilla, amber, gaiac wood, sandalwood, white musk, and Haitian vetiver. Yeah, because this fragrance is so potent, this is a 120 ml bottle. I will probably never use this full bottle in my lifetime. When I wear this, I usually go with 1, maybe 2 sprays. Again, this stuff is just crazy powerful. You've been warned. And I would say typically with all Mancera perfumes that the performance is really good on them and the price is pretty good as well. I'm looking forward to exploring a bit more of the Mancera line. If you can, get yourself a sample of Red Tobacco by Mancera. Next up, from the house of Xerjoff, we have Naxos. This one is an absolutely gorgeous blend of spices, flowers, and woody notes. And it's definitely one of my favorites from Xerjoff. This one is quite aromatic as it has lavender in the top. As you start to move into the dry down, the tobacco starts to push forward a bit more. It's detectable from initial spray, but once it starts to dry down, the heavier notes, tobacco, vanilla, they really start to push forward in this one. What I really enjoy about this one is I love the style of fougere. So Naxos, in my opinion, falls perfectly into that category. It's a unique take on a fougere, in my opinion, because of the heavy dose of lavender in the top. And that lavender note lasts through to the end of the fragrance. This is a gorgeous one. I don't know. It's hard for me to say the word masterpiece, but this is a standout. It really is. If you haven't gotten your nose on Naxos, get your nose on it. Get a sample. It is well worth it. As for the note breakdown, in the top we have lavender, bergamot, and lemon. In the mid, we have honey, cinnamon, cashmerean, jasmine sambas. And in the base, we have tobacco leaf, vanilla, and tonka bean. This is elegance, sophistication, and pure opulence from beginning to end. I remember I had bought a sample set of Xerjoff fragrances. So it had like Naxos, Neo, Herba Pura, Alexandria 2, and a few others in them. And they were all standout fragrances, but Naxos from first spray is the one that stood out the most to me. And so I bought a full bottle immediately. It's just, it has to be one of my favorites in my collection for sure. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Naxos by Xerjoff. Next up, from the house of Nishane, we have Fan Your Flames. So this is a very smoky, tobacco-y, coconutty rum experience. It's almost kind of like having a tropical drink. This is a very dry tobacco. In general, this is a very dry fragrance, but it's so unique. And again, this is another one that when I first smelled it, I had never smelled anything like it before. This fragrance can be quite polarizing to some people. It's a love it or hate it fragrance for sure. For me, it was a love. But with this fragrance, it is quite situational. So, I mean, I would tend to wear this fragrance like if I was dressed up, going to some kind of special occasion. But to each his own, you know. You can wear this casually if you like. That's the cool thing about fragrances. Just wear what you like, when you like. You need to be careful with this one though. This one is a heavy performer. 2 sprays maybe. It's definitely a room filler, but gorgeous. As for the note breakdown, in the top, we have coconut and rum. And in the mid, we have tobacco and tonka bean. And in the base, we have Chinese cedar and oak moss. Yeah, if you haven't checked out anything from the brand of Nishane, you definitely should. They have quite a diverse catalog and just absolutely stunning quality niche perfumery done in the absolute best way. They're very unique and they definitely don't follow trends of perfumery. They have their own take on many different genres of fragrances, and you should definitely check them out if you get a chance. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Fan Your Flames by Nishane. And last but definitely not least, from the house of Maison Violet, we have Un Air d'Apogée. This one is absolutely beautiful and unlike anything else in my collection. So this opens with a very strong and delicious honey note, and then tobacco and hay start to push its way through, and finally you get a very subtle hint of leather in the dry down. Sillage and longevity are moderate with this one. And what's interesting about this one, you know, upon initial spray, you definitely get that honey note, but there's no honey in this fragrance, but that honey note is coming from the mimosa. So mimosa can give off the vibe or smell of honey. It also adds like a slight powderiness to the fragrance. What can I say? This is pure perfection in my opinion. As for the note breakdown, we have tobacco, hay, mimosa, suede, iris, cashmeran, sage, leather, ambroxan, atlas cedar, and labdanum. So if you haven't been able to check out the house of Maison Violet, you definitely should. If I'm not mistaken, all of the fragrances on their lineup have been perfumed by Nathalie Lorsan. She's another perfumer who's quickly becoming one of my favorites. She's done great work with this house. Un Air d'Apogée, another one that's great is called Sketch. Both absolutely gorgeous fragrances. Basically everything in that entire line smells amazing. If you can get yourself a sample set of the entire line, I would highly suggest it. But the standouts for me were Sketch, and then also Un Air d'Apogée is my favorite from the line. I can't get enough of this one. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Un Air d'Apogée by Maison Violet. All right, so that's all I have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comments section what tobacco fragrances you have in your collection. I'd love to hear about them. So I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.